So I have friends that they don't like being hugged. Like they'll tell you, leave me alone. But doesn't mean I still don't try to hug them. That's playful. But in a serious context, when you know that they don't like being hugged, just allow it. People probably like to smack their partner's asses. Yeah. If your partner doesn't want their ass to be smacked in public or in the house, please don't smack their asses. Hey guys, welcome to another video on the channel. My name is Mo and I'm super duper excited to be having this conversation with you today. If you're a first-time subscriber, thank you for deciding to watch this video. I hope that you watch the many more that I have and you join the family by subscribing and giving this video a thumbs up. And if you're not a first-timer, thank you for all that you do by interacting and also watching and encouraging me while at it. I really appreciate it. Today we're going to be talking about boundaries at work, boundaries in your relationship, boundaries amongst your friends. I feel like this is a topic that can't be overflogged, to be honest. I believe that it's just a necessary conversation to have. Let's go right into it. Firstly, I want to define what boundaries are. A boundary is any line that marks the end of a certain area and the beginning of another. It also establishes a line between what is comfortable and what is not comfortable. The difference between what a person tags as acceptable and unacceptable can also be, categorized under boundaries. So knowing this, I'm going to go next into why it is important to set boundaries. Why do you need to set boundaries? I personally believe that setting boundaries helps you to know what is important or not important in a certain relationship that you're in friendship, in an emotional or in a romantic relationship, or even your relationships at work. It helps you know what is important, what is not important. It also helps you respect a person's personal space so that you are not embarrassed, so that you are not insulted, and you can preserve the little respect that you have for yourself, because I feel like people that cross boundaries, or when boundaries are crossed, it leads to disrespect in a certain way. But we're not going to go deep into that. Just wanted to touch lightly on why you need to set boundaries. I also believe that setting boundaries is also a way of protecting your well-being and also ensuring that your well-being is well respected. So for instance, in a relationship, knowing your partner's boundary is also a way of getting to know your partner as a whole, like knowing them based down to what they like, what they don't like, what they eat, what they don't eat, what they will do, what they will not do. And in this case, you find out that because you respect their boundaries, they are free enough to communicate with you. They are open enough to pour out their mind to you. And while doing this, you realize that you start to build intimacy, you start to build trust. This person feels comfortable with you because they know that you will not overpass your boundaries, or you will not even cross the line in any way. Let's talk about the 5 types of boundaries that I know about. So if you know about other boundaries that I don't mention here, please feel free to mention in the comment section. But I will talk about 5 major types of boundaries and what it looks like. The first one I'll talk about is emotional boundaries. Emotional boundaries lean more into romantic relationships and closely knitted friendships where you share a certain type of connection. And what boundaries in this context does is that it helps you know what is yours to feel or what is yours to fix. Now, this means that whatever is happening to your partner or to your friend does not affect you. Let me be very clear on this. You have your emotions in check. You have your emotions under control. And because of this, if something is happening to your partner, something is happening to your friend, you are in a better place to know how to handle this situation. You're able to show empathy without absorbing this person's feelings as yours. And this also applies to how you relate at work. So at work, your colleague comes to meet you and is telling you about your boss or the person's boss and something the person has done that you don't like. You are able to sit down and listen to this colleague talk about how they feel without taking on they are taking on their vexation or taking on their anger. So it's not a case of, oh, boss Tayo did this to me, oh my god, I hate him so much. And because you are listening to this person, it's easy for you to also say, I'm going to hate the Tayo guy because I've heard what this person is saying. Even in friendships, when another friend comes to meet you and tells you about another person and what they've done to them, because you have emotional boundary, you don't allow the person to, you don't take on what the person is feeling. You have your emotions in check, you have your emotions stable enough to be able to listen unbiased, and you're able to give very good feedback to this person. So it's not like, oh, me and Martha did this to me, and because Martha did that to your friend, you decide to start hating Martha. That is where emotional boundaries have been crossed, because it is not your problem to fix, and it is not your emotions to feel. You are only there as a friend to listen to this person. As a parent, where you set emotional boundaries, basically is when your child, your teenager, your toddler comes to meet you. You're probably not in a good mood as a parent at the time, and your toddler comes to meet you to say certain things. You are able to draw the line, basically. As much as you're not in a bad mood, you don't transfer aggression to your teenager, you don't transfer aggression to your child. You are able to know that, at this point, this is not about how I feel. So for instance, a mother has had a long day, tiring day, she's stressed, and her teenage son or daughter just comes and is, of course, not aware of what's going on with the mom, comes to tell us something very unrelated and comes to pour her own wahala on the mom to maybe complain about something. As a parent, you're able to understand that, your child is not doing this intentionally to poke you. They don't know what you're going through. So you are able to draw that line, set that boundary, listen to your teenager, give advice, not based on how you feel, but based on what really is. And, when the teenager goes, you can now crawl back into your shell and be like, okay, where did I stop with me? But you are able to really, really make it clear. That is where you set emotional boundaries as a parent. Setting emotional boundaries means that you are not losing your individuality. You have your own thoughts, you have your own feelings, but at the same time, you're able to care about somebody else without losing your sense of self. The second type of boundary that people set would be intellectual boundaries. Now, people have their different beliefs, they have their different ideas, they have their different values, and they have their different opinions. Setting intellectual boundaries means that you don't impose what you think on somebody else because you think it is right. That is you totally crossing the line. Allow people to have their thoughts, allow people to share their opinions, how they see it. There's a way you can have a conversation with someone to make them still see your point while they still maintain theirs, and not wanting them to totally push theirs aside and take yours in. And when intellectual boundaries are set, it helps you, like whoever you're having a conversation with, it makes them feel seen, it makes them feel heard. It doesn't make them shy away from, because if you're the kind of person who every time a person comes, you have something to say and only yours has to be right, you will notice that people will start to draw away from you. People would not want to talk to you because they believe that this one, she will just impose her own on me and she will not listen to me. And you should honestly be in friendship, in a relationship, at work, you should be that person that people can come to have logical conversations with, people that, someone that people can feel comfortable to have discussions, because they know that you will hear them. As much as, even if you don't agree, there's a warm way that you let them say reasons without making them feel unseen or unheard. Yeah. The third type of boundary to discuss is physical boundaries. Okay, you see me chuckling because I know that this one, but let's go right into it. It applies in your romantic relationships, your work relationships with friends, whether it's guy to girl, girl to girl, guy to guy. It is a general conversation to have. When physical boundaries are set, you're also setting your level of comfort. You're making people know what you like and what you don't like. At work, in your relationship, if your friend does not like to be hugged, I'm not trying to say that, because I have friends that they don't like being hugged. Like, they'll tell you, leave me alone, but doesn't mean I still don't try to hug them. That's playful. But in a serious context, when you know that they don't like being hugged, just allow it. At work, if you have a colleague who would rather give you a high five than hug you, and you try to hug, you are crossing the line. So you need to understand the person's comfort level, the person's definition of comfort. What makes a person comfortable or uncomfortable? And I really feel like people need to be more vocal about what they are comfortable with and what they are uncomfortable with. If you're in a clique of friends or you're at work, don't feel like, if I tell this person not to hug me again, they'll think I'm not friendly. Oh boy, voice it out. Let them know. The earlier and the better they know, the better for you as well. That way, everything is going well. You're not getting upset with anybody. You're not angry at anybody. You don't have bad energy towards anybody. The person already knows that you will not do this, you don't like this. And, anybody who is reasonable will only comply, and everybody is happy at the end of the day. So next up is financial boundaries. Ooh, this one, very interesting to talk about. I believe that as tough as financial conversations may seem like to be had, they are very important to be talked about. And this doesn't only apply in relationships, in romantic relationships where you and your partner already talk about money, how much are we putting here, how much are we putting there, you even have a joint account. That's okay. But setting financial boundaries even goes way beyond romantic relationships. You have this friend who is very comfortable. Probably a rich kid or someone who is financially sustained, like highly financially sustained, and they have money to go to the fine dinings in your area. They can splurge so much money on expensive dining, and you, for one, you are very moderate in your spending. You probably don't make as much as they do, or you're not as financially comfortable as they are. It is very relevant that you set boundaries. It's very relevant that you let your friend know that, hey, I want us to eat together, but you see this restaurant you are taking me to, I can't afford it, and I won't force myself to go. So can we meet halfway? Can we go to somewhere moderate, that both of us can afford? You need to set boundaries in friendship. That way you've created a comfort space for yourself where you don't have to overspend, where you don't have to feel less in any way. You have been honest with your friend, and only a reasonable friend will understand and not look at it as not on my level. There's some people like that. They just look at it like, this person is not my level. A reasonable friend will understand. And so that if it happens the first time, the second time the person wants to reach out to you, they're already processing it in their heads that, let me look for a place that is reasonable, because Motunde will not go, because according to her, it's really expensive for her. So your friend is even helping you to be your true self, helping you not to lose your individuality, helping you not to lose your sense of self. You understand? The last one is sexual boundaries. For this one, I won't say a lot. I'm just going to touch on it lightly. And this, of course, applies to romantic relationships, right? Knowing what your partner wants during sex and what your partner would not want during sex is a very important thing to note. Even when it comes to PDAs, like public display of affection, you know what your partner would want. If your partner doesn't like being held in public, you already know that. And it's only better you respect it so that you're not insulted or you're not embarrassed. If your partner doesn't like, to be smacked, even inside the house, some people probably like to smack their partner's asses. Yeah. If your partner doesn't want their ass to be smacked in public or in the house, please don't smack their asses. Like, respect it. That's what they want. Even, I've heard people say, even when I'm about to get proposed to, I don't want it to be where people are. I don't want the whole world to know. I feel like in relationship, a lot of conversations need to be had, like do's and don'ts. What I want, what I don't want, what I like, what I don't like. And it is very, very, very imperative that these things are respected. It only helps to build respect, build trust. It helps to make you people understand each other better, and you people are not having issues all the time, because you know that I know my partner knows me, and I know my partner will not disrespect me. Disrespect is not until you rain insults on people. Disrespect goes down into knowing what this person would tolerate or not tolerate and not doing it. There are 5 types of boundaries that I know. Please, if you know more, put it in the comment section. I'd like to learn as well. But before I round up, how can you set healthy boundaries? What are the things that you can do to set healthy boundaries? One is that you expect people, and even you yourself, you put yourself in a place where you allow people to communicate during disagreements with maturity. You also communicate during disagreements with maturity. 2, you let go of codependency and you own your own identity. Don't lose yourself because you're trying to put out what you don't like and what you like. 3, it's okay to ask for personal space and quiet. You are not wrong for that. At work, in your relationships, you need some time. It's okay to ask for it. At work, you feel like you're distracted, you need to be alone, ask for it. 4, voice out your concerns instead of holding it in resentment. If someone is doing something you don't like as a friend, as a partner, voice out, let them know how you feel. But how you do it is now what shows maturity. There's a way you can have a conversation with someone without seeming rude or seeming insulting, or there's a way you can have a mature conversation warmly, in a way that the person also understands where you're coming from and they respect it. 5, we have cases whereby the person that is disrespecting your boundary is someone that is way older than you are. So you may not be able to there and then tell the person stop it. In cases like that, listen, just keep quiet. But at the same time, when you find the opportunity to leave. Bottom line is, don't feel held back from leaving a scenario or leaving a situation where your boundaries are being crossed. 6, stay true to your sense of self, your spiritual beliefs, like your opinions, your values. If you feel a certain way about someone, don't feel intimidated to share. Everybody, we're all entitled to our different opinions. Share your opinions, but just like I said, with maturity. Don't impose, and don't make anybody leave theirs to hold on to yours. Only if they choose to see reasons with you and they're like, oh, I've been thinking it wrongly all this while. Oh, I think I agree with what you're saying. That is their own, that's on them. But don't force them to believe or to lean into what your opinions or your thoughts are about a certain conversation. 7, don't, as much as you want to be heard, allow yourself to hear people as well, because this thing is not a one-sided thing. Setting boundaries is not just one-sided. Setting boundaries has to do with the two parties agreeing and understanding that this is what it should be. Don't say this is what I don't like and then you're doing what you don't like to other people. What you don't like, that's fine. Also understand what the person doesn't like. Don't be self-centered. Don't see it as only about yourself. Okay, understand that it is not just you in this situation, and for boundaries to be set and boundaries to be respected, you both need to hear yourselves, understand yourselves, and respect yourselves. Healthy boundaries are supposed to build a sense of comfort for you. They're supposed to develop mutual respect. That's just what like I said earlier, it's not just you. There's somebody else in the picture that needs to be respected as well. Lastly, healthy boundaries are supposed to make you feel safe. Unhealthy boundaries, on the other side or on the other hand, you know them, you feel controlled, you feel manipulated. Anybody who has set unhealthy boundaries for you, you notice that the person is constantly trying to manipulate you into what they believe, into what they think, into who they are. It's all about them. They want to control you to doing things that you normally would not do. And I believe that with even the types of boundaries that I've mentioned, you are able to decipher, you're able to know if you've set healthy boundaries, or if you have set unhealthy boundaries, or if either of this has been set for you in your relationship, romantic or not, in your friendships, and also at work. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this has been enlightening enough. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, and of course there's more to come, so ensure to turn on notifications so you are part of the first people that get to know. Till next time, I remain yours sincerely, Mo, and stay amazing.